Welcome to the PodoTron Network.
You know, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, your race, religion, whatever. Chances are that the legacy of HBCUs and their graduates affect more than one aspect of your everyday life. HBCUbiquity.
Yeah. Welcome aboard.
Welcome to another episode of the new HBCUbiquity. I'm your host, Thomas Joyner Jr. Question: what do Alpha Phi Alpha, Omega Psi Phi, Kappa Alpha Psi, and Phi Beta Sigma all have in common? Well, besides the fact that they're all Black Greek letter organizations, some of you may not know that they were all founded by men that happened to be members of an older fraternal organization, the Prince Hall Freemasons. Prince Hall Freemasonry was founded in 1784 after a gentleman named Prince Hall and 14 other free Black men were first initiated into the Grand Lodge of Ireland. Yeah, they had to go all the way to Ireland to become Masons when the White Lodge in Boston rejected them. But in 1775, they became members of the Irish Grand Lodge. A few years later, in 1784, those newly Black Irish Masons flipped the script and started the African Lodge No. 1 in Boston, Massachusetts. After establishing additional lodges in New York and Philly, Washington, D.C. organized its first Prince Hall Grand Lodge in 1822 at the home of Mr. John Prout on 14th and 8th Street in Northwest D.C. Today, Prince Hall Freemasonry remains the oldest active Black fraternal organization in America, with over 300,000 members and lodges in each state, the Caribbean, and on the continent of Africa. Famous Prince Hall Masons include Booker T. Washington, Thurgood Marshall, and Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. The Grand Lodge of Washington, D.C., located at 10th and U Street Northwest, shout out to U Street, by the way, has existed in its current location since 1922. And anyone that's ever known U Street knows that the Grand Lodge has held down its corner of Washington, D.C. through good times and bad, and is still around. For this week's episode, I'll be joined by Mr. Stephen Jefferson, president of the Prince Hall Freemason and Eastern Star Charitable Foundation. We'll talk about the history of the order, as well as what Masons, specifically DC Masons, are doing in their communities and on HBCU campuses these days, and most importantly, scholarship opportunities for those that are looking for some college assistance for the upcoming school year. So thanks for listening to this week's episode, and let's get started. Welcome to another episode of the new HBCUbiquity. Yeah. Welcome back to the new HBCUbiquity. I'm joined now by the president of the Prince Hall Freemason and Eastern Star Charitable Foundation, Mr. Stephen Jefferson. Brother Jefferson, how's everything in Washington, D.C. today?
Good, and good afternoon to you, Mr. John. Everything is lovely here.
Good to hear. Good afternoon to you as well. So let's jump right into this. Mr. Jefferson, what is the Prince Hall Freemason and Eastern Star Charitable Foundation, and what does it do?
Well, actually, the purpose of the foundation is to facilitate and consolidate the charitable works of the Masonic organization, owing allegiance to the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of the District of Columbia, Prince Hall affiliate, to unify and publicize the charitable contributions and efforts of the Prince Hall family in the District of Columbia.
So what kinds of scholarships does the foundation offer?
Well, we offer scholarships to senior high school students that attend high school in the Washington, D.C. area. And you don't have to have a Masonic affiliation, but you have certain requirements for the scholarship. So we ask that they do a 500 essay as far as part of the requirement, that they get a transcript, certified transcript from their school counselor from their ninth grade year all the way up to the first quarter of their senior year, then also get 3 letters of recommendation. And through that, we help seniors to further their education to HBCUs in any higher learning institution that they choose.
And so you mentioned earlier, the 500-word essay. In this day of social media and texting, what are those essays like?
The essays are for the kids to write, just to tell us a little bit about their future and what they're going to do. and how furthering their education can help them reach their goals.
Is there any criteria on the type of college or university that the students have to attend with the scholarship?
No, sir. There's no requirement for that at all.
All right. And so how and when can students apply for the scholarships?
Well, there are two chairpersons for the Charitable Foundation Scholarship Program. The first one is Ms. Robin Belton, and you can reach her at RWISE, RWISE 6, the number 6, at MSN.com. The other gentleman's name is William J. Jones. You can email him at travelingman_16. That's TRAVLINMAN_16 at yahoo.com.
So traveling man is one word, and traveling, not traveling, no G.
Right. Traveling man. So TRAVLINMAN_16 at yahoo.com. And that's Mr. William J. Jones.
And Mr. Jefferson, what other programs and initiatives does the foundation support?
Well, we support, actually, we just had we participated in the Martin Luther King Day Parade that started at Anacostia Park and went all the way up to the Rise Center on Martin Luther King Avenue. In February, we're going to have the Sickle Cell Blood Drive, which is going to be held at the Masonic Temple, 1000 U Street from 9:30 to 2:30 in about 2 weeks. And after that, we'll have a prostate cancer walk, which will be held at Haynes Point on April the 4th. Then we're going to have a benefit concert that the proceeds will benefit the Men Take 10 program at Howard University Cancer Center. After that, we have, I'm trying to keep everything in order. After that, we have the scholarship program, which is going to take place on May 30th to all the participants that will be awarded scholarships. A lovely program. Hopefully you can make it, and we'd love for you to come out and just see what we do with the kids. After that, we gear up for our breast cancer walk. The Margaret E. Anderson, Georgiana Thomas Grand Chapter, and the Howard University Breast Cancer Center. It's a 5K walk. It's real big. It's beautiful to see all the men supporting the women and all the women supporting women for the breast cancer walk. Then we have a senior luncheon for all the members in Ward 1. Now, the Masonic Temple is located at 1000 U Street, and the city is broken up to 8 wards. We are in Ward 1. So we invite every senior in Ward 1 to come down to have Thanksgiving with us the Monday before Thanksgiving.
Now, for the walk, do the brothers have to wear the aprons and white gloves?
No, you just coming out walking. we want you to come in your sweats. We want you to come out there and just kind of spring into health. That's our main goal. We're walking for health, hope, and a cure. So we want you to come out, whatever T-shirt you want to wear, fine. We're going to have food, fun, and fellowship afterwards. So we normally hang around. We start about 6 in the morning to get everybody registered, and a walk. Normally try to kick off about 6:20. We're done about 7:30. And for those that are running late, we're still out there. We'll be out there at 9:30, and that's for us to walk. But we'll normally stay out there to noon, just having a good time, laughing and just fellowshipping with each other.
I bet that sounds like one of the very few times where the craft is allowed to get together and wear T-shirts.
Right. And it's not just the craft, it's for the public, because we know that prostate cancer in the Black community is a very preventable cancer. But unfortunately, statistics in D.C. show that Black men have a higher rate of getting prostate cancer and die at a higher rate than our white men and our counterparts in other ethnic groups. So we're really promoting men to get tested. And that Men Take 10 program at Howard is a wonderful and excellent program.
Well, Mr. Jefferson, I want to switch gears right quick, just slightly. For the benefit of our listeners that may not know or understand, can you explain the difference between Freemasons and other traditional Black fraternities?
Okay, well, with Freemasons, we accept anyone that is in accordance with what we're looking for. And in accordance, I mean more or less like upright men and men of good moral turpitude. So there's no restriction on becoming a Freemason. With the Greek organizations, of course, those were college. They were founded at universities. So they more or less get guys that are either in college or have graduated with a degree. And to be able to join a Greek fraternity, from my understanding, because I'm not Greek, is that you either have to be enrolled in a school or you have to be a graduate. But for the most part, we do the same things. And a lot of the stuff a lot of the different activities, let me change that. A lot of different activities and community events that the Greek fraternities do, a lot of it came from us. And I just found out not too long ago that 2 of the founding members of Omega Psi Phi were Prince Hall Masons.
Google that for those who are listening.
Yeah, and actually they were in Corinthian Lodge number 18 here in Washington, D.C.
And like I said, I'm pretty sure that you can Google that and verify that information right there. So,
yes,
so Mr. Jefferson, if I hear you correctly, then it is possible to be both a Freemason and a Greek fraternity member.
We have a lot of fraternity members that end up joining Freemasonry. And not only that, but at Howard University, we have a lot of professors that are also Prince Hall Masons in Washington, D.C.
So speaking of which, how does one join and what is that eligibility criteria?
Well, you just have to be, you have to be free will and of your accord. So basically, it's something that you will want to do. And we really don't go out looking for people to become Mason. They normally come and ask us about Masonry. And we just kind of observe them a little bit and ask them a few questions to see where they are in life. And if we find so to be, we ask them, hey, would you like to become a Mason?
Ask one, be one.
There you go.
Brother Jefferson, are there any notable lodges on and near HBCU campuses that you want to acknowledge?
Well, I want to acknowledge the whole fidelity of the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of the District of Columbia. We're located on 10th and U, and Howard University is right around the corner on Georgia Avenue. So all our lodges and chapters do a lot of community service as well and help out in different areas at Howard and around in the community. So I just want to shout out to the whole Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of the District of Columbia, Prince Hall affiliate, and the Georgiana Thomas Grand Chapter, jurisdiction of District of Columbia, Prince Hall affiliate.
And Mr. Jefferson, what is the Order of the Eastern Star, and what's that relationship between them and Masons?
Well, the Eastern Stars were the wives of the Masons when the Grand Lodge was formed back in 1848, if I'm not mistaken. And they wanted to be able to have an organization to help support the men and help do charitable works in the community. So on December 1st, 1874, they created what was called the Georgiana Thomas Grand Chapter. And it was named after Georgiana Thomas, who was the first Grand Worthy Matron, and Thornton A. Jackson, who was the first Grand Worthy Patron. And it all started back, like I said, in 1874, and they came up with a way that women could join and be a part of this fraternity as well, called the Order of the Eastern Stars. And it was made up of either wives, daughters, mothers, widows, or sisters. Now we've added granddaughters to it. So it's 6 ways you can come in. Or on special occasions, we have what is called an open window, where we invite anybody, if you have a Masonic affiliation or not, to become an Eastern Star.
Nice. Going back to the scholarships right quick, Mr. Jefferson, how many scholarships are there? Is the Grand Lodge, or better yet, the Foundation offering this year? And what are those amounts?
We give anywhere, and I believe the amounts are from $250 to maybe $2,000. And we have a lot of different people that help us in the scholarship effort too. We have 25 lodges that are located at 10th and U with 15 chapters. So all of them are willing to help deserving kids get to college. So we're trying to give out at the minimum 100 of them.
Did you just say that there are 25 lodges located in the Grand Lodge of DC?
Yes, sir, and 15 chapters.
That's a lot considering how small DC is.
Yes, sir. And we meet down here at 1000 U Street at different times, of course.
With that many chapters and lodges, that building must be running 24/7 almost.
Just about.
Well, in closing, Brother Jefferson, can you one more time, just for those that are listening, in case they missed it earlier, repeat where people can go and apply for these scholarships or how they can contact somebody?
Sure. You can contact Miss Robin Belton, who's a chairperson, and her email again is arawise6@msn.com, or Mr. William J. Jones, and his email is travelingman_16@yahoo.com. And that's TRAVLINMAN_16@yahoo.com.
Well, Brother Jefferson, thank you for your time, and definitely thank you for this information, especially for those who are wondering right now about where they're going to get additional funds to help pay for their fall semester.
Oh, it's been my honor and pleasure. On behalf of the chairman of the foundation, Mr. Quincy G. Gant, and the vice chair, Ms. Eunice J. Dingle, we want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of your podcast.
No problem, Square. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir. And I will send you a PDF copy of the scholarship that has all the information on it. So if you have folks that want to know and contact you, you can give it to them.
Will do. And thank you, and we'll be back with more of the new HBCUbiquity. This is Thomas Joyner Jr., and you're listening to the new HBCUbiquity. Welcome back to the new HBCUbiquity. Before I close out this episode, I want to give special thanks to Mr. Stephen Jefferson of the Prince Hall Freemason and Eastern Star Charitable Foundation, especially for his insight and for sharing that ever so important info on where and how to apply for their scholarships. By all means, please send your kids, your grands, your nieces and nephews, and anyone else that's looking for a scholarship for the fall 2020 semester. Apply for their scholarships. And if for whatever reason one does not get their scholarship or the amount is not enough, there are others that you can apply for. Break out your laptop and Google UNCF, United Negro College Fund, or TMCF, the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. If someone already knows which HBCU they plan on being at this fall, check with the National Alumni Office as well as your local alumni chapter to see what scholarships they have available. Also, Google what the national fraternities and sororities are offering. Just go to their homepages and click scholarships and see what they have to offer, especially to high school seniors. In fact, make Google your friend all year round for scholarship opportunities. Lastly, don't forget to check back on next week for a new episode. I'm Thomas Joyner Jr., and thank you for being a part of the new HBCUbiquity.
Sign up and be a part of the team. Be a PodoTron at PodoTron.com. Thank you for listening to PodoTron.